And now it's time for the Ridiculist.
What kinds of things make people piss?
And how many suitors exactly has she dismissed?
Siri, what are some locations for a lover's tryst?
Oh, darling, surely there must be a list.
A list?
A list?
A list?
A list?
You're telling me it's all here on this bleeding list? That's preposterous and ludicrous.
Well, actually, it's all quite
Ridiculist, ridiculist, ridic. You list.
Welcome to the Ridiculist. I'm Sally Brooks.
And I'm Jen O'Neill, and we're back. Hello, stranger.
Hello, stranger. It's so good to see your face.
It's good to see your face. You guys, we're friends in real life, and we have barely seen each other this summer because the both of us have just been all over the place.
We've been in opposite directions. We also wanted to save the chemistry for the pod, so.
That's true. I was like, don't talk to me. We're recording today.
I know we haven't seen each other.
I know.
All summer.
I know. I've been working like a dog.
You have been working
to
hard.
pay for my stupid air conditioner. Guys, summer's hot in Georgia regularly. But it's really fucking hot when your air conditioner breaks. And then it's really bad when you have somebody come to look at your air conditioner and they're like, we need to replace everything.
Everything. Oh my gosh.
So I've been buckling down and taking as many gigs and jobs as possible.
I don't know how you survived it as long as you did, because it was out. You couldn't get somebody out for quite a while. And our air conditioner also went out for a day. And
Yeah.
I was complaining to you, it's so hot. I'm so grumpy. I'm so tired. I can't sleep. And then they came and it was an easy fix, which thank goodness, because I know how much yours cost. And whew, man.
It is painful expense. And that's what's so funny to me too, is one of my jobs is property management. And so when I get calls from people, I'm like, it's been 40 hours. And I'm like, tell me about it. I know. Or they're like, my power bill was $150. I was like, my power bill last month was $600. I get it. I feel like I'm working on it. I can't get mine done any faster than I can get yours done. So
Yeah.
It's the summer in Georgia. Be patient with me, okay? So
I know you've been working. I've been doing book stuff and traveling.
yeah.
And yeah,
Recording your audiobook.
recording my audiobook, which was way more involved than I anticipated. It was, you guys, it turns out there's a reason that people have professional studios and they just go to studios to record things and they don't try to DIY all the shit. There's a reason for that. And I've learned that lesson. I've learned that lesson real hard.
Why? Is it more expensive to DIY it in the end?
I think it's probably
is it more complicated to DIY it?
Both things. So
Okay.
it was more expensive because I had to rent places to go do it. And I had to buy the equipment, which I was fine doing because I was like, well, I will use this for other things. I wanted the nice equipment. But also
for DJing and stuff.
Yeah, for my DJing, my next career in DJing. I'm probably going to be like a voiceover lady who says things on, video games
yeah.
Look this way. Does that sound good? Don't go down that tunnel.
What? Yeah, there's the guy on The Valley, for Bravo fans, there's a guy on The Valley who went from being an actor to now being a voice actor on video games. And hey, that's a gig, man.
It's a huge gig.
Yeah,
They make a ton of money.
Totally.
So, but now I have the equipment. I can totally do that. I just need to figure out what people say on video games, obviously. But yeah, that and just setting it all up and getting finding a space that's actually soundproof. It's you think you're in the middle of the woods that in a closet somewhere will be soundproof. And I had all the soundproofing stuff with me, but it's not. It's a car goes by or something else happens or there's a really aggressive bird which like just derailed me for like hours. There was just like a bird that was like chirping outside, and I was like, I don't know what to do about this. This is
Hey, I even put in an awkward text message to a guy I used to date that
You
might
totally
have
did.
a hookup for you. We tried, Sally.
I know,
Yeah.
I know. I could have been. I was like, hey, stranger.
Hey, so my friend Sal, I haven't talked to you in a year, 2, 3 years, but
My friend once used your closet recording studio.
yeah, is that cool? This isn't just a random thing where I'm trying to reconnect with you. My friend really needs a place.
And then it probably seems so made up because I was like, I can't.
I know.
Like that guy.
And then I totally look like one of those girls. It's like, hey, this might sound weird.
Oh, man. But yeah,
The
so
things
that was,
I do for Sally Brooks.
I know.
True
I love
friendship.
you, and I really, really appreciate that effort. He's probably like, oh yeah, that Jen girl, she wants me.
She wants it. Friends, recording an audiobook. Sure.
Oh, you want to come see my audio studio? All right.
Anyway.
So that's taken a lot of time, but I'm glad we're back. We are back, baby. Summer is over. It is time. It is ridiculous time again. I'm so excited.
I know. I'm so excited to be back. I'm so excited. So let's not let our listeners wait any further for lists. So let's get to the list.
To the list.
Okay, so of course I had to come back not only with a BuzzFeed article, but a BuzzFeed article from our best friend who doesn't know that she's our best friend and probably has no idea that we exist or how much she influences this podcast. Hannah Murder! Hannah!
I hope Hannah had a great summer.
I hope she did too. She really works hard and she deserves it. But this, just because, we're back, our kids are back at school, everybody's getting back to school. I thought that we should do a school themed one. And this is 28 wild things that happened at people's high schools that literally became legend in their town. That's so
my
funny.
gosh. I am so pumped for this.
Yeah. Like I was trying to think of like some things that happened at my high school. It's funny. I was talking about this the other day. But it wasn't really my high school. It was in my like high school area that there used to be a guy. I don't know his name, but I'll remember him forever. It's a guy that worked at Kroger.
Okay.
And he was a bagger. And he would name people's cars. So if you got a car, then it was like a teenage rite of passage in Marietta, Georgia, that you ride through the Kroger parking lot and this kid would just come out and be like, Harvey. And then you'd be like, cool, got it, thanks, man. And then you drive off and like, that's the name of your car forever. And then he would just like be like, I think Corey's car, my Toyota Camry's name was Harvey, and my friend Corey's car's name was Isis, I believe, which doesn't really stand up. But
didn't age.
At the time, it was a cool name. But yeah, he would just come out and be like, Scarlett, and then walk back in. I wish I knew.
Was he also a high school student, or was he like an adult?
I think he was a high school student, but at a different high school. And then I also thought about, like, I remember when there's a rumor, I don't remember ever seeing it, or I don't think it happened during my day, that kids like handcuff the rent-a-cop to the like some pole outside, and then they all skip school. It was like senior prank day or something.
Oh man.
Did you have any senior pranks?
No, I feel like there was always the rumor of the people that like took apart someone's car and then reassembled it inside.
Or
so
on
maybe
the
that
roof.
was like, or on a roof or something. I don't think we'd ever did a senior prank day. I went to a very like a strict Catholic high school, so there was like no fun stuff happening there. I was just thinking, I like kind of like the
I
stuff
feel like
of
that's where the craziest shit happens.
Right.
What?
I mean, it probably was happening. I just didn't know about it.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't want any part of it. I was like talking about stuff of legends. I had these 3 friends who I may have talked about this before, but they decided that over the summer they were gonna ride the rails, and so they hopped a train like they like had their like, you know, their satchel on their back and like canned goods, and they told their parents they were going camping for 3 months and they were going to ride out to California, and everybody, like, we all went to like go see them off because it was like,
Really?
hell yeah, they're going to fucking ride the rails. And they ran and they jumped into these like into the railway cars and then rode off, and we were like, that's amazing, fuck yeah. And then like 10 hours later I got a phone call and they're like, can you come pick us up?
No. Oh my God. That's so funny.
Because actually what had happened is they were like, you know, they're like waving to people, they're sitting there so excited, and it's a federal offense to like jump a train car, and somebody called the cops, and so all of a sudden the train started slowing down. And these guys were like, oh shit. And then so there were 2 trains coming, and they like met, and they were like, all of a sudden saw cop cars coming up alongside the train. And so they hopped off the train, hopped through the other train and ran into some cornfields. And
okay, well, that's kind of badass.
And waited there like all night. And they were like,
at least they did something.
Yeah. They were like, surely we're in like, you know, we've made it to like at least to Indiana because we were in Ohio. And it turns out they had only made it like 45 miles from her. They're like, we're in Middletown. They called me from a gas station. They're like, can you come get us? And then can we just spend the night at your house?
I can see you. You're in. I'm at the 7-Eleven.
Yeah.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Amazing. Well, in true ridiculous fashion, I have not read all of these, so because I wanted to be surprised with you guys. So I'm excited to hear some of these stories. This one says, there was this dude, God, he was high as a kite, who was the most competent person to be. I think they mean wasn't the most competent person, but they said, it says the most competent person to be operating saws. Anyway, he sliced off his first finger with saw, and due to copious amounts of drugs in his system, he seemingly didn't feel a thing. He left the workshop, walked to the front office where I was at the time, casually walked in, put his finger on the counter, and asked to go home early. The office workers obviously called an ambulance, and I guess once the ambulance got there and the pain and realization set in, you could hear him scream from the other side of the school. I will never forget the office worker's face when he pulled his finger out of his pocket. It was absolutely priceless and a little traumatizing. Yeah.
Oh my God.
I would be traumatized by that.
I went to in middle school, I went to a performing arts school, which really doesn't matter for the story, but I was in the music room and I saw this girl, Stacy, was being chased by this boy, and I can't remember the boy's name, but I mean, just like it was like
a playful,
playful. And so she runs in. I was like in the music practice room. She runs in, and he runs after her, and he like puts his hand out to grab her, and she slams the door, and she basically like took off the tip of his finger in the door. And like it was like gone. Like I just remember, and then they came and got him, and he was like being paraded through the hallways on a stretcher with his hand all bandaged. And they were holding the tip of his finger.
Oh God.
Oh man.
That reminds me of like, I feel like, you know, like I'm sure everybody for the rest of his high school career like had their fingers up in the air whenever they saw. This one says, it's mad how I can't find a news article about it, but there was a boy, Tommy, in the year above me. His family were farmers in a nearby village. We were in year 8, so roughly 13, 14. These people sound British.
They sound British. Year 8.
Yes. So roughly 13, 14 years old. his granddad found an undetonated World War II mine bomb in one of their fields. They thought it was defunct, so they brought it to the school to show the teachers, especially the chemistry teacher, Mr. Evans, as a kind of show and tell piece. We got to school and he showed Mr. Evans, who inspected it and realized it was a live fucking bomb. They had to evacuate the whole school, and the bomb squad poured in and put it on the cricket. Yeah, they are British. The cricket field.
It's like every word is like, and I said, "Blimey, mate!"
And I nearly threw up my tea and crumpets. I
said, "Come round for tea."
Yes. I remember my PE teacher with his head in his hand as they detonated it, blowing a massive hole in his wicket, his sticky wicket. The whole school watched from afar and cheered. Fucking mental. Well done, Tommy. You brought a live bomb on a school bus of 50 children and into the science department. Oh my God. That's insane. Oh man. This one says, one of the kids in computer class sent a death threat to Bill Clinton when he was president. He signed it with the principal's name. It was meant to be a joke, but the Secret Service showed up and it ended up being a big deal.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Wow.
Well, I'm trying to think like at the time an email, I mean, you probably couldn't trace it to like exactly the right person. Like it probably was like, oh, we know in this area. Like when Bill Clinton was president.
As an adult now, sometimes I think back to these like stupid, dumb things we did as kids. And it's like, that fucking principal, man, he's just trying to do his job. And he has to come home, he or she has to come home from work that day and like tell their spouse, like, yeah.
The Secret Service raided my office today. Sorry, thank you. I have been delivered my iced coffee.
Oh, you fucking bitch. God damn. One of these days, we're all going to have somebody to walk in and hand us ice. What is that? Is that your iced honey oat latte?
Yeah, it's oat milk with honey. Oat milk latte with honey.
Thanks, Ben.
Yeah.
Anyway, this, like, I can't, like, yeah, having to be like, yeah, today another student called in a death threat to the president, so I have my name on it.
They disassembled my car and reassembled it in the fucking place again.
Another day.
I get paid $40,000 for this.
I know. Poor guys. This one says, this was the early days of the internet. A guy in grade 12 posed as a woman on an online dating site and somehow managed to start dating one of his male grade 12 teachers. This kid maintained an online relationship for months and eventually announced this in front of hundreds of students, teachers, and parents during the annual grad show, which was a night of skit songs and dances performed by students of the graduating class. It was definitely disastrously unfortunate. Oh again, God. Poor fucking teacher,
right?
Man.
It just made me think like, oh God, you have to be so careful.
I know.
In your normal life when you're a teacher, especially a high school student.
If I were a teacher, I'm just saying, like, I mean, I have a hard enough time as it is just being a parent having social media because we have to have it as comedians.
Right.
Like, you know, we have to be on all the things. And sometimes I'll get alerts that it's like, such and such from your my kid's teacher looked at my TikTok or something, and I'm like, ugh. But like I can't if I were a teacher, I don't think I could have social media because I wouldn't want to be that exposed to all of my students.
It's wild to me there are teachers who are like social media influencers, like they're like known for their teaching and their students find their TikToks and they're like, yeah, it's just really, it must be just such a hard, like you just must have to navigate things so carefully.
Yeah. I wouldn't be able to sleep at night. This one says,
I mean, just think about how much you hate it when people from your work find out that you're a comedian.
Oh yeah, I know. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you're just like, oh, not this now.
I know, like I need to be two separate people. Like I need to be mean landlady. and then I could be comedian, but I go by 2 different names. And
Same.
Because I don't want people to know, but what are you gonna do?
Yeah, no, I do too.
Yeah.
It's funny, like, because people are starting to find out that I've like written a book at my work, and I'm just like, oh,
that's a gateway.
So
now
great.
they're
I'm
gonna
like,
find out
you don't
everything.
even know what I've been doing. Like, you don't even know.
Yeah.
I'm like, and I don't want to talk about it.
Wait till they find your YouTube videos, your gangster rap YouTube videos. It's gonna be all over for you. Anyway, this one says, in my sophomore year, I was in a business math class because I still can't math for shit. It was full of misfits. One of the guys in the class who went by the name Spike had a glass eye. While we were sitting quietly taking a test, Spike was either done early or just over it, and his head was leaning over the desk looking down. He casually reached up and slapped the side of his head, and his eye fell out of his socket onto the desk with a loud clacking sound, and the girl next to him passed out. Good times. They wrote.
Oh,
God.
I love that.
This one's
that's like one of those things where it's like, if you're young and you have one of like something like, oh, you have like false teeth, or like, you know,
that's your party trick.
That's your party trick.
For sure.
I had a friend that was like, had like, for some reason had to get like, had their teeth knocked out, and then they had like false teeth, and they would just like take them out.
Oh,
and it was always like, oh my God, you know. It's a great party trick.
It reminds me of when I worked at Six Flags Fright Fest, and one of the like gothic teenagers that worked in the crazy clown land was just showing off in the middle of like when we were getting our hair and makeup done, like took it was a chain. It wasn't even like a noodle or something. Took a chain and stuck it up his nose and pulled it out his mouth and was like doing this with it. Like while we were getting ready, and we were like, ew, that's disgusting, gross. And then like an hour later, I hear on the radio, like, we have a situation in the clown room. Like, he fucking got it stuck in his nose and, like, I don't know, pulled out his brains or something. And I remember him having to go to the hospital. But, yeah.
That's what you get, man.
People are so dumb. God bless his parents.
What do you think that guy's doing now? He's probably a banker.
Probably.
He probably has a family. He's voting for Trump, you know.
Probably. This one says, I got set on fire in shop class. A friend couldn't light the smoldering iron furnace and went to go get help, but failed to think to turn off the gas while getting help. I had a fireball reach the entire length of my arm up to singe my eyebrows. Ew. That's probably why we don't have shop class anymore.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's just wild to me that is something that was or is like available to kids.
Kids can't even eat with plastic knives anymore. In the lunchroom. It's like, but really? You could just light Bunsen burners and light shit on fire. This one says, in my junior year, some kids figured out how to send a mass email out to literally the entire school district. And the school couldn't figure out how to get rid of it. So for nearly a week, thousands of kids were creating chaos in the school email system. One kid sent the sorry. This is so stupid. It's so stupid that it's like exactly the kind of thing that would make me laugh I'm gonna laugh about this for months. One kid sent the entire script of B Movie when the dumb meme was popular. Another kid sent full-on furry porn, and I think he was expelled for it. They gave literally everyone who had been involved in that email chain at least one Wednesday morning detention.
Oh, God, that's amazing.
It's just so random. Like, the script for the B Movie. Oh, my God. That's so funny. And that's so, like, not threatening or, like, it almost, like, I picture, like, a kid, like, wanting to send something but being a little scared to send something. Yeah. And it's like, I'll send the script to the B Movie. Oh, my God. So funny.
It'll be hilarious. I don't know why that triggered this memory of there was a kid. So this shows you how old I am, but this was when like universal remotes were like just becoming like a thing. Do you know what I mean? Like where you could buy a remote and you could use it on any TV.
Oh yeah.
And so they brought in a universal remote, and then like while the teacher was teaching, they were like turning on and changing the channel on the TV, and the teacher couldn't figure out how it was happening.
That's so awesome.
And it was like, I mean, such a funny.
That is a funny, like, to me, like, that kind of thing, if I was the teacher, that would make me laugh. Well, I was like, come on, guy. And I would laugh about it, you know? That's so funny. This one says, Spanish class junior year. We had to make an instructional video all in Spanish. One guy made a video about rolling a blunt using a tortilla and refried beans as proxies. The best part was that he made it into a skit in which his girlfriend was played by a blow-up sex doll. Every scene had something inappropriate in the background, like a dildo or a bong. It was our Spanish teacher's first year teaching, so he made the mistake of letting the entire video play. He got suspended for a couple of days, and I'm pretty sure she got in trouble as well, but it was absolutely legendary. That's so funny. I remember when I was in this film class, like in high school, our school didn't have film class, but they would bus us over to another high school that had all the fancy stuff. And so I remember we had one of our projects was that we had to make a commercial, and like me and a couple of guys made this video that was, we were selling D's nuts, like a can of D's nuts. And that was the whole commercial. And like our teacher thought it was fucking hilarious. He was dying laughing at the whole thing. Like he didn't yell at us at all for like, hey, do you want to try some of D's nuts? You know, and like it was so stupid, but he didn't think it was. He laughed through the whole thing.
Yeah, he was probably like 23.
In retrospect, probably. And like back then, I was like, oh, he's like 50, but he was probably like 24 years older.
He's like, nobody knows what I'm doing here.
Yeah, who cares? There was this guy who showed up drunk to class. Obviously, the teacher wasn't having it and sent him to the principal's office. They decided that his drunkenness was grounds to search his backpack, where they found beers. Then they pulled out a brand new bong he had just bought. The principal said, "What's this?" And the student said, "It's a vase. I'm a botanist." That seems like an appropriate answer for what a bong is. So everybody says, it's a vase. I'll do one more. When I was a freshman in high school, I had this awesome biology teacher. I had to fly to California for my cousin's wedding, and when I came back, I had a new biology teacher. It turns out she was having an affair with a gym teacher, and they'd exchanged some very graphic and scandalous emails and accidentally sent them to the faculty and school board's email lists. And then there was some, and then they also said, and then there was the time someone put laxatives in the ketchup dispenser. I'm glad I didn't have fries that day. I feel like that probably happened like during the early 90s or something, back before like people knew what like Reply All was and really knew how to like what emails were. I'm
like
sure
kids don't even know.
Yeah.
Kids don't even, although I will say like it at my work, 2 times in the last year, like people have sent, like, you know, we have to send, like when you declare your benefits, what you want to do. And it has like your salary on it, all of your information. I mean, it's like, you know, when you're like trying to get, health insurance and stuff. And people will send that to the entire everyone. And then be like, oh, sorry guys, can just disregard that. I'm like, ding dongs. Like it not even, I mean, once it was like an older lady and the other time it was a young 20 something. And I was like,
God, but isn't there like, people are more open about salary transparency these days, where it used to be like you weren't allowed to talk about your salary?
Yeah. I mean, I think that maybe not the salary part, but I mean, it has like your social security number.
Yeah,
and, like, every single
your
thing,
weight.
like, yeah,
that's the thing I'd be most upset about. Like, oh my God, I just told everybody what I weigh.
Like it's like
and how many drinks I have per week,
right? And then
it's a weird amount.
And we all know that whatever somebody says, you triple it. So
that's that's so funny. Okay. So that's my list this week.
Oh, I loved that list. Welcome back to school, friends. Welcome back to school.
Well,
My list was sent to me by none other than you.
Yeah, because I've got your back. Whether
you got
I'm
my
looking
back.
for lists or texting dudes I used to date for no reason and embarrassing myself and looking pathetic. Sure, I'll do it all for you, Sally Brooks. All of it.
Thank you. I feel loved. So this is from HuffPo, which, I mean, how did you even find it? But it is 10 people share the absolute worst way they were broken up with. And it was compiled by Brittany Wong. And I think you've probably found it because one of our
very good friends
posted is telling his story.
Yes. And I was so excited. It was just kismet that we were recording today. And Ian, our good friend, Ian Avery, very funny comedian, posted that. And I was like, hell yeah, we got to do Ian's story and everybody else's story. So
I am excited to get into these. So, okay. Do you have any bad breakups? Any bad breakup stories?
Only thing I can think of that was like a weird, like, are you serious? I'm sure if I thought harder, I could think of some other ones, but I would say there was a guy that took me on a date to Old Navy, which was the store that my sister worked at. And then when we went to go talk to her, and me and my sister were not friends during high school. In fact, we were mortal enemies. And his name was John Micheletto, and I will put you on blast, John Micheletto. He took me to Old Navy, and then was like, let's go talk to your sister up at and I was like, okay, I guess so. And so then we go and talk to my sister. And of course my sister's like, why are you hanging out with my loser sister? And he's like, oh, I'm not. I'm not with her. And I was just like, you fucking just drove me here, man. And now I have to find somebody else to come. And so I was like, fuck you, you know? He was using me to get to my sister, which I don't think she never dated him or anything, but she was definitely the cooler, hotter sister in high school, you know, which now, no, just kidding. I'm joking. My sister is gorgeous. But my sister would never, she never dated him or what. Right. It was just he just wanted the moment to talk to my cool, hot sister. Yeah. And then just completely threw me under the bus.
Oh my God.
And I can't remember if I had him take me home or if I had somebody else pick me up, but I was gonna say, did you have to wait
at the mall until your sister got off work and then
here's the worst part. It wasn't even a mall. It was like a strip. It was a outside Old Navy that was next to a media play that my mom worked at.
I don't know why that's just such a. He was like, "Well, if not your sister, we're going for your mom next, Caroline."
What's Caroline doing?
He's just gonna make his way down the strip.
Yeah,
he's like, "I'm gonna get one of these on the old ladies."
That's the only one that pops in my head, but I'm sure there was others. But that was a very unique, interesting one. Where it's like, well, now what do I do? I don't need any board shorts.
I'm all good on DVDs.
I'm good on performance fleece. What do I do now?
Oh shit, that's so great. Yeah, I was thinking my worst breakup was when my boyfriend in high school, from high school when I was in college, broke up with me over email.
Oh, God.
And I was before you could actually I didn't have a computer. I had to go to the computer
the library to get broken up with.
Yes, and so I was crying in the middle of.
That's horrible.
And I think it was probably the first email he'd ever sent because it was when email was just invented.
Oh my God!
I can only imagine him being
Jeez.
My kids don't know how good they have it.
Now they break up with each other in TikTok dances.
Right.
Yeah. This was funny. It ended up being an ad for pre-rolled joints because we were in Oregon. But we were walking down the street. I was recently just there, and there was a flyer that said Dave, this is Ashley. I know you cheated on me. I have pictures to prove it. And there was a QR code. And I was like, should I do it? Like, And so I was like, I hope I don't get a virus from this. And I scanned it and it was like an ad for pre-roll joints. I was like, that's so smart. That's so smart.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
That's brilliant advertising. Maybe I should do that to sell my book.
Well, maybe we should promote the podcast.
Yeah. Oh, right. Yeah, that too. This first one is from Monty Zhang, who is a stand-up comedian. And they wrote, I once got dumped via a Post-it note. It wasn't even a full note, just a tiny sticky with, sorry, it's over, bye, written on it. The kicker, they stuck it on my favorite mug.
Oh, no. That's
so
like
rude.
the Sex and the City episode. I can't, don't hate me.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. She got Carrie got broken up by Burger on a Post-it.
Oh, Moni, you got burgered. That person wasn't even like original.
No.
They were just doing a Sex and the City reference. How that's like even more of an insult. Okay, this next one is from Ryan Bailey, who is a host of the podcast So Bad It's Good with Ryan Bailey. In high school, I dated a girl who broke up with me to date my best friend. She did so at our Christmas party our drama club was throwing. She then proceeded to give me a bag of trinkets, which seemed like they were from the dollar store, almost like a consolation prize.
Aww.
One of the gifts was a spatula. Really weird night. Somehow that just all tracks with like drama club. That all tracks.
Right,
I feel like there was so much of like I wasn't in the drama club, but I did a couple plays in high school. And I felt like everybody in that drama club was like dating each other. It was more drama in the drama club.
Yeah.
It was like high school band. Like there was so much like it's like working at a restaurant where everybody's dating everybody. There is no loyalty.
I know my daughter really wants to join, she wants to go to a performing arts school. She wants to do drama and she wants to be in acting and stuff. And I did all that in high school. And I'm just like, oh, I'm like ready for the drama of it all.
Yeah.
Like the actual drama. And it's so funny because she, this just happened this week. She sent me a message from her Apple Watch that said, I think I'm going to throw up. And I was like, oh no, honey, did you tell the nurse? And she was like, no, I'm in the bathroom. I was like, okay, well, I'll come get you. And then I was like, I guess we'll just have to miss hip hop tonight, like her dance class. And then she's like, well, no. And then she was like, I'm not going to throw up. I'm okay. I'm just overwhelmed. And I was like, oh, okay. And then I was like, oh, I know that feeling. I know that feeling of being in high school, or she's in middle school, but that middle school feeling of like, maybe she's getting bullied or maybe whatever. And she's overwhelmed and she just wants to. So I created this whole story. And I was like, you sure you don't want me to pick you up right now? She's like, no, I'll be okay. And all day long, I'm thinking like, oh, these girls were like mean girling her or somebody, or a boy broke her heart and like thinking of all these things like that, like, oh, poor baby, like she's not fitting in middle school and this is hard for her. And then when she finally came home, I was like, are you feeling okay? Like what really happened? What happened in school? And she was like, I'm fine. And I was like, but why were you like, what, you could tell me like what happened? She's like, oh, this kid kept burping and it smelled and it was disgusting. And I thought I was going to puke. Okay, like I can see that, like, but I was like, thank God it's not all the crazy things that I thought of see, I'm still in drama club, but it's like, I'm still in that, like, oh no. So everybody's she's like, she's like, this kid kept burping. It was so gross. He just like wouldn't stop burping. She's like, I could smell it and it just made me nauseous.
You're like, well, maybe you could be a little more explicit in your text.
Just say this kid was burping and it was gross. Pick me up. Anyways,
this next one is from stand-up comedian Mark Nicholas. He said, I was dating someone from work over the summer and I thought it was going well. She then ghosted me for 2 weeks. While I was out for an afternoon run, she phoned and explained how messed up she was feeling and she wanted to go back to being friends. We then met up 2 weeks later as friends, got drunk, and she asked to go back to my place. We then slept together, and after she said she wanted to try it again. Again, I got ghosted for 2 more weeks until I got a WhatsApp from her explaining how she wasn't ready for a relationship and was not in a good place and needed to be on her own for a bit. A week later, I see her post on her socials with a new boyfriend. That's like a story as old as time.
I know. While I'd like to feel bad for this guy, it's like this has happened to every girl.
Yeah.
10,000 times. It's like this is just a rare. It sounds interesting and unique because it's happened to a man one time. Right. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So this next one is from our friend Ian Aber.
Yay!
Who is also a comedian. And so he said, in my early 20s, I was dating an older man for a couple months, pretty casually. We'd see each other maybe twice a week because he was always so busy working late. Turns out he was closeted and married, and I was his side piece, all things I found out when his wife showed up to the coffee shop I worked at and confronted me and told me to stay away from her man and called me all kinds of names and slurs. As she walked out the door, she turned back and showed me the gun she had in her purse. I still see both of them around town to this day, and if she sees me, she pats her purse while glaring at me.
Oh my God, that makes it like I have to find Ian because I need to know who it is. Because if he still sees her around town and it's like a around town couple, Ian and I kind of know a lot of the same people.
Yes.
So I'm like, I wonder if I know who it is.
I just have I'm like, this is somebody, it's like in East Atlanta. Like, it's weird. Like, who is this woman? Who is this couple? Yes, I want to know all of the deets.
Me too. Because I'm imagining in my head who I would picture it being, and I need him to like rectify that before I just always think that about these people.
Right.
These like poor unsuspecting people that are so far removed from the situation, but I've already assigned this story to them.
So maybe the way you can do it is like, you can
it.
just like pat your purse and see if she pats her purse back. And that's.
Yeah.
Okay. So this one is from writer and comedian Jaws Norris, who said, I once took a date to see a piece of immersive theater that was performed in pitch darkness with the audience wearing headsets that would play the show's audio directly into their ears. The dialogue of the show directly addressed you as if you were a character within the show, and the name that you were given in the scripted dialogue happened to be her actual name. She therefore became convinced that I had invented, rehearsed, staged, and produced the entire show purely to freak her out and accused me of it as much after it finished. I insisted that I hadn't and said it was just a weird coincidence and that I was sorry it had freaked her out so much. But when we got on the train to go home, she waited until the doors were about to close, then legged it off the train, and I never heard from her again.
Oh my God.
I still feel absolutely terrible about it.
Oh, it's not their fault. She's a narcissist.
Right?
She thinks everything's about her. Like, how could she not understand that, like...
She's like, obviously you created this whole play just to like no, take a step back.
That's not their fault.
I also love just like the pure drama moment of like being on the train and then waiting till it's about to close and then like jumping back and letting it close and letting the train go. Like that she had been waiting dramatic for that moment her whole life. Yeah.
Totally.
That's amazing. Okay.
She's been waiting to say, like, you can't fire me because I quit.
Yeah.
Or something like that for her whole life.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
She's just waiting for these golden
you
moments.
Can't fire me. Okay. This one is from Katarina Robinson, who is a content creator and comedian. And she said, I had an ex who was a comedian like myself, and he invited me to his show, got me to take pictures of him and hype him up. Then he drove me back to his place and broke up with me. I was so confused why he wanted me at his show if he knew he was going to break up with me. It felt very calculated and planned. And can I say, as a comedian, and especially like I think about in places like New York, I'm like, this feels so real. I 100% can see this happening. People are so weird and calculating and
like he
callous.
just wanted somebody to take pictures of him on stage.
Yeah.
I
He was
picture
like, I'll wait till after the show.
Yeah. Like maybe it was like Comedy Cellar, and it was like, I have to get a picture of me at the Comedy Cellar.
Yeah.
Or, you know what I mean? Like it was some kind of cool background, and he was not
Right.
willing to break up with her beforehand because he'll do anything to get the shot. There are so many people like that. It's like crazy.
Yeah. And you're like, you know what? It's never going to be your big break, dude.
Yeah.
Okay, so this one is from writer A.L. Brooks, who said, some years ago, my live-in girlfriend of nearly 3 years cheated on me with another woman in our living room while I was asleep in our bedroom. The next morning, she promptly told me we were over. I had no clue it was coming, but I had the last laugh. The woman my ex dumped me for was a diamond dealer, and she was arrested and jailed 9 months later for smuggling.
Oh, wow.
I mean, that's got to be like the best, like schadenfreude of like, you know, just, I don't even know if that's the right term, but just like, the best of like when you hear somebody that has done you wrong get theirs.
Like, okay, I will say cheating is never good and it's never right. But I do have to give some credit to her for immediately breaking up with them.
Yeah.
Right after she cheated. It's not like she cheated and she tried to hide it. She cheated and then she broke up with them.
Yeah,
so
but
like,
maybe
you gotta give her some credit.
Do you have to give her credit? Because she did it in the apartment while the person was sleeping in the other room.
That's
I think it was maybe
shitty.
one of those of like, oh, you're gonna find out. Like, obviously.
Yeah, maybe that's it. Maybe it was going to be on the Ring camera. Yeah. So she knew. Yeah. I don't know. Just say.
Okay.
I'm just saying, if somebody cheated on me, I would forgive them so much faster if they immediately broke up with me after they cheated on me, rather than like try to hide it from me and let it.
And everybody knew, and yeah. No, I agree. Yeah. I agree. The like, you know, at least own up to it.
Like,
and
please break up with me. Yeah.
Yes, please.
Please.
So I think that's all I'm gonna do. So
okay.
Thank you for sending me that list. That was great.
Yeah.
Thanks to all of those comedians who we know or don't know who contributed.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Very funny. And I'm definitely gonna connect with Ian as soon as we get off this recording, because I gotta know.
I gotta know
to know if it's this person. I think it is. Which really the only reason I think it's this person or these people is because they've just been a couple that's lived around Atlanta for a long time. That's it.
Yeah. These poor people, you're just like,
I know.
He's on the down low, she has a gun.
I got your number. All right. So should we get into our top fives?
Let's do our top fives.
Great. So our top fives, we figured, it's been a long couple of months of our little summer break. We thought the best way to catch you guys up to speed with what's been going on with us is to do our top 5 summer moments. Like, what are the top 5 moments for Sally and I over this summer? And we thought we'd share those with you. Do you want to start or do you want me to go first?
I can start. So I talked about this a little bit already, but I spent like 2 full weekends of my summer recording my audiobook. So I'm going to say that is one of my, even though it was definitely a struggle, I was, what a cool experience to get to record the audiobook for my own book. It was pretty awesome. So I'm going to say that is my number 5.
Awesome.
That's what I spent a lot of my time doing.
I know. And also we'll talk about it in general, but make sure Sally's about to have her book release party.
Yes.
September 10th the book bird.
Bird.
I keep
Yeah.
wanting to say worm, but it's a bird. The book bird in Avondale Estates. It's Tuesday, September 10th, and we will both be there.
Yeah.
And so will a lot of other cool people. So
It's going to be so many cool people.
if you want to be cool, you should go. Just saying.
Yes. Tickets are free. You just have to RSVP. So
Yeah.
go to the bookbird.com. I don't know what
there will be like snacks and wine and good times.
Yep.
By all. My number 5, this summer, me and the kids got really into paddleboarding, which is great. Like, has been fun because it's a free thing to do. And it's like a way that I was able, because I've been really trying to save money and make money and earn money to pay off this like crazy expense that I had this summer with my air conditioner and heater. It was the whole shebang.
And like the ductwork too,
and the
right?
ductwork and the whole thing. And so I was like, I wanted my kids to have like epic summer moments. You know? So it was like we got to spend like entire days out on the water. They loved it. I loved it. You know, we had so much fun. And that was, some of my favorite moments is just being out on the water paddleboarding and the kids not being on screens and having summer fun for $0.
$0. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's so fun. I wish I'll have to go out with you guys sometime. I love paddleboarding. And yeah, it's great. My number 4 is we took a trip to the Smoky Mountains with Ben's mom and dad and brother and my sister-in-law and our 2 nephews, and we all camped, and it was just like a really nice trip. We don't really, it's rare that we get to spend like that kind of time together where it's not like holidays and we're all, busy doing stuff. And so it was just nice to like sit around. We did a bunch of hikes, but the best moment was we did this hike called the Alum Cave hike, and it was just like so beautiful and so cool. And we all kind of did different distances depending on what we want to do. And like there was a point where Max was like, this was totally worth it to hike to this. It was like a cool cave thing. And I was like, he's just not an outdoor kid. And for him to be like, I really enjoyed this, we were like, yeah.
Yay. I know that's the best when you see your kids having fun, doing something so pure and outdoorsy. And you're like, see, you can live life outside of video games and TV.
Right.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was just, it was fun. And I just, I love my sister-in-law so much. It was just like so fun to spend time with her and all of them. It was great to spend time with. But
awesome. My number 4. So I got a new man in my life.
Mm-hmm.
He's very sweet. His name's Teddy. He's been amazing to me since we met. And it's funny because looking back now, it was at the very beginning of summer. It was for my birthday. He took me to New Orleans for my birthday because he knows I love New Orleans. But I remember when we met, he was like, I'm going to take you to New Orleans. And I was like, I don't know you. So I was like, okay. And I was like, make sure it's refundable. You know what I mean? And so he was like, don't worry, I'm going to make sure everything's refundable, but I'm banking on that in June for your birthday, you're still going to be hanging out with me and I'm going to take you to New Orleans. And I was like, okay. And then and so we did, and we're still together, and he's been amazing this whole time. But so he took me to New Orleans for my birthday. And we had so much fun. We had such a blast. And but one of my favorite moments from New Orleans was we were like walking past the casino. And I was like, he's like, do you want to go like do some gambling? Like, cause he likes to do blackjack. And I was like, oh, I'm not a gambler. Like I might do a slot machine or something. I was like, I'm not a gambler, but I'll watch you and I'll have fun. I have fun no matter what I do. Like I'll come. So like we walked into the casino. We literally walked in and he's like, let's get you set up on a slot machine. Yeah. So he gave me like $20 and like put it in the machine for me. And I pulled the thing down and he walked off to go get like a bucket or something. And then he comes back and I'm just staring at the machine like, I think it's done. Like, oh, and he was like, babe, you just won $400. I was like, I did? And he was like, yeah, you just won $400. I was like, cash it out and let's get the fuck out. Because like, I don't want to like, because I don't want to like lose it. And so we literally, we took it right over to the thing, cashed it out, walked out. So we were in there for like less than 5 minutes.
That's
walked
amazing.
in, won $400 and walked right out. It was awesome.
That is like my dream. I'm with you. I don't gamble in that. It makes me too nervous. The thought of like just spending money on something like that. And anytime we've like gone to a casino and have like gone up on something, I'm like, let's go. Let's go now. Like, we're down.
I don't like it. It's fun. My grandmother was such a big gambler, and we grew up like learning to gamble, but it freaks me out. I don't like it.
Me too. Ben likes it. He's totally the person that can like, okay, I'm going to spend this much money, and it's okay if I lose it and it's going to be fun. And I cannot. That's not fun for me at all.
I used to tell Zach, like my ex-husband, when he would be like, because he loves to gamble and he plays poker and he's really good at poker. But he would say like, I'm going to Vegas this weekend with my friends. Like, how much can I spend? And I was like, don't tell me nothing. Right. I was like, I don't want to know. I don't want to know if you won. I don't want to know if you lost. I don't want to know how much money you lost. I was like, don't tell me a thing. And I'm just like, because I don't even want to know any of it. So I was like, do your thing, man. But don't tell me anything.
Right. Yeah. I don't want to have to like
so much
worry about it and perseverate on it. Yeah. No, I'm the same way. So my number 3, and this is like totally a cheat, but I'm going to put these together. But my number 3 is the Olympics one. Okay. I got so into the Olympics this year. I just was like, I loved one because of TikTok, which I know is whatever. I loved like all of the athletes who were posting on TikTok. They were like behind the scenes and all their outfit checks and all of their like, they were like the Olympic Village and they were trading pins. It was just so cool watching all of these like young people who had worked so hard to like achieve something, like living their dreams, whether they were, winning medals or not. But then also I think I watched every track, every swim. I mean, we watched so much of it. And my brother and sister-in-law Tasha and my nephew Owen went to the Olympics.
Oh, cool.
And so I was like feeling very cool. I was like telling everybody, I did some shows at the Laughing Skull, and it was like during the basketball final, and they were at that game, and I was like, my brother's there. My brother's at the game. And all of like the young guys were like, oh, really? That's cool. I'm like, yeah, my brother's there.
Kristen's husband, Matt, was there the whole time because he works for Nike. So they went to the Olympics the whole time.
So amazing.
Awesome.
I know. I was like, I'm just living vicariously. But yeah, I got really into the Olympics. So that was like one. And then I think the other thing that really like lightened up the summer was Kamala and Tim Waltz. I've just like I feel like a weight has been lifted.
That was such a turn. Yeah. That was like, what? Like, and now I care again. I was like, the sun came out, right?
Yeah. I didn't realize how much I was just like, I'm just holding my breath until November. And now, I mean, who knows what I'm sure my tune I hope my tune doesn't change, but like, who knows? But in this moment,
I know. I think we've learned our lesson to get excited.
I like have this picture that keeps coming up on my iPhone feed. And it's a picture of me in a suit with pearls on. And Max is strapped to me because he was like 6 months old. And it was like after I had gone in the morning to vote for Hillary, and we all wore our fucking pantsuits, and then like came home, and like that was like probably one of the worst nights of my life.
Oh God. I had a house full of women comedians. And we were all and then it was like one by one, everybody like started crying and leaving. And it was just like what we thought was going to be this big monster celebration. It was just so disappointing, but it's not going to happen this time.
Right.
Okay. So my number 3, this is actually something really silly and little, but I had such a great time. there was a night where I never get to spend that much time with my son, my teenage son, because he's a teenage boy
He's a
and he
teenager.
doesn't want to hang out with mom. And my daughter had a sleepover, and it was just me and Sully, and we decided to go go watch. I was like, what's something I can do with just Sully that like I can't do with my daughter? And it's go see a scary movie. And so, it was a PG-13, so it was age appropriate, but we went and saw like, what was it? The first, it was like the first day or day one of the Be Quiet movie. I don't even know what it's called.
I don't know.
It's like,
I don't know.
It's something about not talking or whatever. A Quiet Place. That's it. Oh
Shut
my
the fuck
God. I am Caroline O'Neill. It's my mom. I'm like, don't talk. Be quiet. Quiet Place.
And what's that actor? Is it LL Cooley or
LJ Cooley? Oh my God. So we went and saw that movie, and we went to like Nam Phuong on Beaufort Highway, which is like a really cool, and he had never been there before, and he loved it. And so we had like a cool Beaufort Highway movie night. And then we went to the International Food Market over there too. And it was just a really cool night. And then we came home and watched the original A Quiet Place.
Oh, that's
so we
fun.
had like a whole night of just me and my boy, and it was great. Yeah, and he seemed like he had a good time, which made me happy.
He only rolled his
And
eyes
he
like
liked
3
it.
times.
Yeah.
I took my dad and stepmom came into town in June, and I took Ben and Max and them to Nam Phuong for the first time, and none of them had ever been. And like, it's like sometimes you worry that like maybe you've overhyped a place.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
But they were all like, oh my God, this is amazing. This is like the best like food we've ever had. My dad was like, I only want to eat here from now on when we come to town. And Max loved it. Like I was just like, oh, okay, yeah. This is
I'm glad Max
amazing.
liked it. Yeah.
Yeah. It was, I felt very like, I was like, good job.
Yeah.
And really it should be good job you, because you introduced me to it. But
I mean, and somebody introduced me, like I think Voss told me about it. So we pay it forward. Yeah.
If you're in Atlanta, go to Nam Phuong. It's amazing. So my number 2, and this is like we went to visit our friends, Steve and Carlene. Their family has a house on Consensus Lake, which is one of the Finger Lakes near Rochester. And there are some of our like dearest friends. If you read my book, Steve is one of the guys we met through hiking the Appalachian Trail.
Good plug.
If you read my book, you'll figure out who he is. But it was just like it's so wonderful to be with them. But also their kids are so cool, and they have their daughter Mimi is the same age as Max, and the two of them were like peas in a pod. It was just like, it's like that beautiful thing of watching your friends' kids and your like people you love and then have grown up with, and then your kids being together was just it was just so wonderful. It was like such a great trip. We were supposed to go to Toronto for a couple days during this trip. And like right before we left, Ben was like, my passport is expired.
Oh, no.
Like didn't even think to check, so we couldn't go. But it was great. We went to like this really great amusement park, like this little like amusement park. It was really fun. And yeah, it was just like that moment of like watching them together.
Yeah.
Was just really cool.
That's awesome.
I liked it.
I love that. My number 2 is again just something little, but it made me so happy. Was my daughter took a dance camp, and she took it at my friend Krista's dance school. So it was like awesome.
Oh, cool.
And she took it with my sister-in-law Zach's sister Claire's daughter Annie, my niece.
Yeah.
And so they took it together. And she loved it so much. And then there was a recital at the end. And it was really incredible seeing how fast they learned all these dances in 1 week. Yeah. And they both did such an amazing job. And just seeing Louise is like, I was blown away by how well she did.
Yeah.
And then she like got that. She was like, I'm in. I want to like sign me up for dance. I want to do this. Like she like found her thing.
Yeah.
And that made me so happy, especially because it was my thing when
I know. I was going to say.
So I was like, I'm total dance mom. I'm like, I have to stop myself. Like her first day of so I signed her up for hip hop down here. Yeah. So like I had to stop myself on her first day of dance because I signed her up. The beginner class was full. So I signed her up for intermediate.
Yeah.
And I was like, she can do it. I know she can do it. I know she. And so then when she came out of class, I was like, so how was it? Did you feel like you were keeping up with the other kids? Were there other kids that were like maybe not as good as you? Do you feel like? And she was like, I don't know. And I was like, okay, I'm totally being a dance mom. I have to stop. It's like
you're like already like teasing her hair and putting on lipstick and
like tappy tappa. I know. It's like I just my whole thing is I'd feel so bad if I signed her up for this class and then
signed
the teacher told her like you're not at this level yet and our beginner class is full, you won't be able to take dance. Like that would break her heart and it would break my heart. So that's why I'm being dance mommy, but like I had to like catch myself because I was asking so many questions. Like so like if you had to rate every kid in the class,
like where would you be?
Where would you fall?
Number 1 or number 1?
Yeah, so that's it. That's my number 2.
I love that. So my number 1 is getting a copy of my book in the mail.
Yeah. I know. Everybody else has gotten their copy and mine hasn't come yet. And I'm so mad. Well, I think it's coming in like phases.
Well, what happened was
explain yourself.
I didn't do shit.
I know. It's not your fault.
Apparently like copies are shipping from people that ordered on bookshop.org.
Oh, okay.
So it doesn't come out officially until September 10th, but they had, their copies have been printed and they're just like waiting to ship, and Bookshop apparently just doesn't hold them like Amazon does, and they just don't hold them. They're like, if they're here, we'll ship them. And so I was kind of like freaked out because I was getting messages from people being like, oh, I just got a notification that the book shipped. I was like, what the fuck are you talking about? I've not even gotten a copy yet. And but everybody, like the publisher, the publicist, everybody's like, no, this is actually a good problem because it's good to like for people to have it. It helps like kind of
create a buzz.
Yeah. And also like you'd rather the books be ready to ship than not, because sometimes apparently it happens where like it's release day and they don't have your books printed. So
what did you do when your book came and you finally had your book in your hands that you've been working so hard on for years?
I think I was just like,
recreate. Really?
Yeah, I thought I would like cry or something, but I kind of was like, I don't know. Sometimes I just don't feel appropriate emotions at the appropriate times.
Right.
But now that I have had it for a little bit, I'm like,
it's sinking in.
And I'm happy. And Ben has been taking it and reading it, and I find that obnoxious because he'll read it in front of me. But otherwise, it's very.
What an asshole! What an asshole husband to read the book that you wrote. And bring you iced coffee.
Ugh. Yeah. The book that I wrote about him. Ugh.
Right. I know. About your love story.
I'm just so burdened, But yeah, no, it is. I'm trying. I think we've talked about this quite a bit with like just anything where you're creating something, it feels
vulnerable,
like very vulnerable to put it out in the world. And I can be very hypercritical of myself and my work and like, well, whatever, this is not a big deal. But I'm trying to be like, not do that. Yeah. I mean, I'm sure I'm doing it a lot, but I'm just trying to like, to just be like, hey, this is a cool thing. I have a book. There's my book. Really it's a thing cool in the world. And like, how cool. I'm going to get to go do a bunch of book events. And like, I get to talk to people about this book and people have read it and said they liked it already. Like, how cool. So I'm trying to keep that mentality. So if you see me doing otherwise, let me know. When you see me doing otherwise, please punch me right in my stupid face.
Oh, you know I will. It's my favorite thing to do. That's my number one, actually. Of the song. No, I'm just kidding.
That's why Jen and I haven't seen each other. I have a restraining order against her. She punched me right in my stupid face.
And just kidding. We should have went opposite so that we ended on your book, because now I have to be like, oh, I took a trip, but you wrote a book.
Yeah, but we've talked a lot about this stupid book, so
it's not stupid. God,
we've talked a lot about this amazing book. I think let's talk about your amazing trip.
So my number one is I just got back from an amazing trip to Oregon. Again, Teddy, sweet angel baby. We were eating dinner at Little Sparrow, and Little Sparrow, and
which is a restaurant in Atlanta.
Yeah, and it's really nice and it's really good. And so he had ordered a bottle of wine, and I tried it, and I sell wine. I taste wine all the time. Like I'm immersed in wine, and I was like, oh my God, it's called Martin Wood's Jesse James Pinot Noir. And I was like, I kept going on and on about it. I was like, seriously, oh my God, this wine, it's like the best wine I've had. I can't even remember. I'm obsessed with this wine, and so he was so sweet. And then he was like, hey, shoot me a couple weekends that you could take like a 4-day trip somewhere. Like, give me some dates. And so then he booked a trip to go to visit the winery. And
that's so sweet. I just am like, good job, Teddy.
I know,
good job.
He's good. And so then we went out. But then we realized before we went out there that they don't actually do. It's a very rare thing for them to do tastings at the actual winery, because the way that they grow their grapes, there's not a vineyard that's in one specific place. There's multiple vineyards, and so they have a tasting room though in downtown McMinnville, which is this really cool food and wine town in Oregon, surrounded by wineries and vineyards. And so we're like, cool, we'll go there. And I was totally happy with just doing that. And then while we were there, we were telling the guy that was pouring the wine, like, yeah, we came all this way just because we really loved the Martin Woods Pinot Noir so much. And he was like, well, that's Evan, the guy that makes it right there. And so we were like, what? And so he called him over, and then he was like blown away that he was like, wow, I can't believe you guys came for this. And he was like, tell you what, come to my house tomorrow, and we'll show you our barrel room. And he had this other guy who was really cool. His name was Aaron, show us, do a private tasting for us in their barrel room. And then we went up into his house and showed us everything. And it was just we were like, how did we end up from drinking a bottle of wine in Little Sparrow to now we are in his home. Yeah. And I'm using his bathroom.
And imagine how amazing that felt for that guy. Because it's a pretty small operation, right? Were you saying that you're like, oh, I saw where they have the labels.
I saw the roll of stickers for you know what I mean? And we were tasting things from barrels that aren't even out yet. And it was the coolest experience. And,
that's amazing.
So we did a lot of fun things when we were in Oregon. Then we drove up the coast. We went to Portland, visited Kristen. And so it was a really amazing trip. But I think the most special part of the trip was definitely the night one of being there. We set out for these specific wines, and night one, it's like, oh, you made it, and you're sitting in the bar next to me. Cool. That just is so meant to be, right?
Yes. I was like, it has to have that feeling, that put a magical feeling on the whole trip.
Totally.
This was, yes, we are here for a reason. And not only did it make our trip, but it probably made that guy's whole year to hear someone be like, I loved what you're doing so much that we took a trip here.
Yeah.
Even not even thinking we would even meet you or be able to do a tasting or whatever.
I would have just been happy to be I wanted to be able to try all of his wines, because in Atlanta is kind of right now, it seems like you could only get 2 of them. Yeah. So I was so excited to sit in the tasting room and try all of them. Yeah. And that would have been enough for me, but it was to actually get to then go to see where it was made and try everything. It was really fucking cool. So
that's awesome.
That was my number one. summer moment.
Summer moment. I want to hear what your guys' summer moments were.
Yeah.
What was your number one summer moment? What have you guys been up to while we have been gone gallivanting around? If you guys want to find us, we are on Instagram at The Ridiculist Podcast. You can find us on TikTok at The Ridiculist Podcast. You could rate and review. You could tell a friend. Please order my book, Going to Maine. That would be
Yes.
amazing. And thank you guys so much for listening. And we're so excited to be back.
And if you're around in Atlanta on September 10th, please come to the book release party and you can meet me and Sally, and I think I'm supposed to ask you some questions or something about your life.
Something.
I'll be up there grilling her.
Figure it out.
We would love to meet you. We'd love to see you. And please come get your book signed by Sally Brooks.
Yeah.
So exciting. And thank you guys so much for listening. We're so happy to be back. And we missed you so much. And share it with a friend. That would be the best.
Ridiculist, ridiculist, ridiculous.